السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين. ما بعد، أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. لإيلاف قريش إيلافهم رحلة الشتاء والصيف فليعبدوا رب هذا البيت الذي أطعمهم من جوع وآمنهم من خوف. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما صليت وسلمت وباركت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. कि मोहम्मद से वफा तूने तो हम तेरे हैं, ये जहाँ चीज़ है क्या लौह कलम तेरे हैं. Respected brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. Inshallah, today we will be giving the exegesis on Surah Al-Quraish. This is Surah Al-Makkiyah. This surah was revealed in Makkah, and when you say Tartib al-Tilawat, when like a sequence of Tilawah in Quran, it's 106 surah, and whereas the Tartib al-Nuzuli, yani the sequence of the revelation is 29. It has one ruku and four ayat. It's in volume number 30. Subhanallah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says لِإِلَافِ قُرَيْش. Quraish को रगबत दिलाने के सबब, यानी to awake drive among the Quraysh. إِلَافِهِمْ رِحْلَةَ الشِّتَاء, उन्हें शिताई व सैफ, इन्हें सर्दियों और गर्मियों की तिजारती सफ़र से मानूस किया. Means they were acclimatized to the summer and winter for the commercial trips. فَلْيَعْبُدُوا رَبَّ هَذَا الْبَيْتِ. बस उन्हें चाहिए कि इस घर यानी इस खाने खुदा यानी खाने काबा बैतुल्लाह की कि रब की इबादत करें ताकि उसकी शुक्रगुजारी हो. अल्लज़ी अतअमहुम मिन जू व आमनहुम मिन खौफ, यानी जिसने उन्हें भूख यानी फ़क्र फाका के हालात में खाना दिया और यानी रिस्क फराहम किया और दुश्मनों के खौफ से अमन बख्शा यानी महफूज मामून ज़िंदगी अता फरमाई. So who fed, yani Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has fed them in hunger, that is provided them the sustenance in the starving condition and secured them from fear like of enemies. That is therefore they are blessed with security and peaceful life. So this is the translation of this surah, and these are the surahs that we recite very often in our prayer. And one of the Imam al-Wahidi rahmatullahi ta'ala alayh says about the purpose of this revelation is that yani the Shan al-Nuzul, the surah was revealed about the tribe of Quraish and the blessing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had bestowed upon them. And according to Hani bint Abi Talib, the elder sister of Sayyidina Ali al-Murtada Karamallahu Wajhul Kareem, who reported that the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam said, Allah has favored the Quraysh with 7 characteristics which he has never given to anyone before them and will never give to anyone after them. The post of Khalifa is given to one of them, Allahu Akbar. And the second thing is the custody of sacred Kaaba is like is assumed by someone from amongst them, and giving the water to the pilgrims like a siqaya during Hajj is undertaken by someone among the Quraysh, and prophethood is given to Sayyidina Muhammad who sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa wasallam, who was among them, and Quraysh were given victory over the army of elephants, which we learned from the previous session. And the sixth thing is they worship, yani Quraysh worshipped Allah for many years during which none has worshipped him. So they were in a practice of worshipping only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, regardless of whatever the idols were installed in the Kaabatullah. And the seventh thing is, and a surah has been revealed about them, in which none but them was mentioned for the taming of the Quraysh. So this is these are the few fadail of Quraysh. So now coming to the verse Quraish means li-ilaf. Li-ilaf it comes from ulfa and Quraish को रगबत दिलाना love करना उनको familiarize करने के ताल्लुक से है to awake drive among the Quraysh. And when we talk about syntax and morphology, I some asking that I should be talking about that. Some say it's kind of time consuming. I'm going to go very quick on this. The li ilaf, lam is the plural prefix preposition lam, and then ilaf, genitive masculine verbal, which is jar and majroor, means for the familiarity, for the love, the वाकफियत के लिए, मोहब्बत के लिए, अकीदत के लिए, of the means Quraish, of the Quraish, means Quraish is a genitive plural proper noun. اسم اسم علم مجرور علم مجرور الله أكبر. And Sayyidina Ibn Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhuma said that لإلاف قريش يعني as from and from his narration on the authority of Sayyidina Ibn Abbas that he said about the interpretation of Allah saying لإلاف قريش for the taming of Quraysh. يقول مرة قريش لي يعني and he said that command Quraysh to be disciplined to Allah's divine oneness. And it is also said this means mention my blessing to Quraysh so that they be controlled and worshipful to Allah's divine oneness. And in Jalalain Sharif li ila fi Quraysh means in gratitude for the security of Quraysh. And it's basically it talks about the security of the Quraysh. The first ayah mentions, as I said, the security and familiarity of Quraysh. Allah Akbar. Many commentators, Mufassirin, have said that this surah is related to the earlier surah Al-Fil. That's the reason I had to, instead of going from the from the bottom, I kind of skipped and then went over the exegesis of Surah Al-Fil so we can understand Surah Al-Quraish. So it is a connection to that one. What Allah did to the companions of the elephants, Ashab al-Fil. So Quraysh in the name of the tribe, basically it is the name of the tribe of Arabs who are the descendant of Nadr ibn Kanana from the family, from the same family. The Prophet Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam is and in 13th generation of Nadr bin Kanana, as in the books of the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam has been mentioned. It is evident from the genealogy of Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, like we say, Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, Ibn Abdullah, Ibn Abdul Muttalib, Ibn Hashim, Ibn Abd Manaf, bin Qusay, bin Kilab, bin Murrah, bin Ka'ab, bin Lubi, bin Ghalib, bin Fahr, bin Malik, bin Nadr, bin Kinana. Subhanallah. So Fahr, subhanallah, was the Quraysh. So the Quraysh tribe was the dominant tribe in Mecca and held the authority over the Kaaba, the sacred shrine in the city of Mecca. They are known for their trade and commerce as Mecca was a significant trading hub. The tribe of Quraysh were the descendant of Prophet Sayyidina Ismail ala nabiyina alayhi salatu wasalam. Among Banu Ismail, a man by the name of Fahr bin Malik was born. His title was Quraysh, after which the tribe is named. Fahr bin Malik had several sons, and from them, Qusay bin Kilab is the most significant. He was the great grandfather of Sayyidina Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wasallam, and was the one who gathered the Quraysh together to relocate in Makkah. And there were And there are 14 Arab clans of the tribe of Quraysh, like Banu Haris, Banu Amir, Banu Adi, Banu Tim, Banu Saham, Banu Makhzum, Banu Abduddar, Banu Abdul Shams, Banu Naufal, Banu Hashim is a highly graded ones, and then Banu Muttalib and Banu Asad. They are the 14 tribes highly regarded. There are so many tribes, but they are the significant. Among the highly respected was Banu Hashim. So the very first evident their excellence is that the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alaihi wasallam comes from their tribe, and he shares their lineage. The Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alaihi wasallam only come from the greatest of the tribes and families in honor, standing and respect. The Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alaihi wasallam said, which is recorded by Imam Muslim, Imam Ahmad, subhanallah, the hadith is sahih, subhanallah, and that the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam said that, which is recorded by Wasila ibn al-Asqa, that يقول سمعت رسول الله صلى الله تعالى عليه وآله وسلم يقول إن الله اصطفى كنانة من ولد إسماعيل واصطفى قريش من كنانة واصطفى من قريش بني هاشم واصطفاني من بني هاشم. सुबहान अल्लाह. यानी इमाम मुस्लिम और दूसरों ने, इमाम अहमद ने इसको नकल किया, फरमाते हैं कि हज़रत वासिला इब्न अस्क़ा रज़ियल्लाहु ताला अन्हु फरमाते हैं कि मैंने रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु ताला अलैहि वसल्लम की ज़ुबान फ़ैज़ तर्जुमान से सुना है कि अल्लाह ने इस्माइल अलैहिस्सलाम की औलाद से किनाना का इंतखाब फरमाया, और किनाना से कुरैश को मुंतखब किया, और कुरैश से बनु हाशिम को, और बनु हाशिम में से मुझे बरगुज़िदा किया. अल्लाह अकबर. Means I heard Wasila ibn Asqa radiallahu ta'ala anhu said that I heard Allah's messenger Sayyidina Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam as saying, verily Allah granted eminence, high respect to Kinana from among the descendant of Sayyidina Ismail alayhi salatu wasalam. And Allah granted eminence, yani reputation, to the Quraysh among Kinana, and He granted eminence to Banu Hashim amongst the Quraysh, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala granted me eminence from the tribe of Banu Hashim. Subhanallah. So this is the tribe is very highly regarded, because Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam's Noor was traveling all the way from Sayyidina Adam to Sayyidina Abdullah and Amina, and they are Hashimis, and they are subhanallah, especially Abdullah is Hashimi, and when we look at Hashimis, Abu Talib is Hashimi, and Sayyidina Ali's mother also Hashimi, Sayyidina Ali is great Hashimi. So they are highly chosen one, Quraish. So there are so many things to Quraish. If I go on and on and on, Allah Akbar, we need a lot of time for that. So Lila fi Quraish, Allah Akbar, the security for the Quraish. And the second verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِلَافِهِمْ رِحْلَةَ الشِّتَاءِ وَالصَّيْفِ. Allahumma salli ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala sayyidina Muhammad. That इन्हें सर्दियों और गर्मियों की तिजारत से मानूस किया, इलाफ उल्फत दिया, मोहब्बत दी. Means they were acclimatized to the summer and winter, yani commercial trips. Allahu Akbar. So this is one of the favor that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning. When we talk about the grammar and the word by word, means ilafihim. Ilafi, yani it's a noun, genetic, masculine, verbal noun. Him, yani masculine, plural, what do you call, possessive pronoun. اسم مجرور وهم ضمير متصل في محل جر في يعني إضافة. إلافهم, their familiarity and their acquaintance or their love, we can say. رحلة means journey, means it's a ism mansub, accusative feminine noun. Allahu Akbar. And ashita, shita is of winter, ism majroor, and the wasayf means summer. Okay, so Saif is a noun, genitive masculine noun, and waw was Saif, waw was atifa and ism majroor was Saif. Allah salli. And when looking into the tafsir of Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhu, ilafim ka ilafim means for their taming we cause, as we have tamed. Rihlat al-shita'i was Saif, the caravans to set forth in winter and summer. Ala rihlat al-shita'i ila al-Yaman was Saif ila Sham means the caravans to set forth in winter to Yemen and in summer to the historic Syria. الشام ويقال لا يشق التوحيد على قريش كما لا يشق عليهم رحلة الشتاء والصيف. It is also said that this means belief in Allah's divine, the Tawheed, oneness is not hard for Quraysh, just as their winter and summer trips are not hard for them. Allah means they are traveling. What is so hard for them to follow the fact? Subhanallah. And Imam Jalaluddin Suyuti and Imam Jalaluddin Mahli in Jalalain say the ilafim ta'kid wa huwa masdar alaf bil mad, yani their security. Ilafim repeated for emphasis. It is a verbal noun from the verb alafa. Allah Akbar. Rihlat al-shita yani ilal Yaman, the journey of winter to Yemen. ورحلة رحلة يعني الصيف, that's what the word for Quran, إلى الشام, and the journey of the summer to Syria. في كل عام يستعينون بالرحلتين للتجارة على المقام مقام بمكة لخدمة البيت الذي هو فخرهم وهم ولدا نضر بن كنعانة. يعني every year they made use of these two journeys to provide for their trade at the station of Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam in the Mecca, in Mecca, in order to attend the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which was the source of pride. The Quraysh were the descendant of another Ibn Kanana. So their security during winter and summer journeys, subhanAllah. So when we talk about the general tafsir, those Quraysh, Allah has given peace and correctness for their interest to Yemen in winter for trade and livelihood, and for the sake of their journey towards Syria in the summer. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala destroyed all the people who intended any evil against Quraysh, honoring the matter of the Haram, Mecca, and the people of the Haram in the hearts of the Arabs. Allah Akbar. Even the Arabs began to respect the Quraysh, especially Sayyidina Abdul Muttalib radiallahu ta'ala anhu, after the incident that took place against the people of Elephant, Ashab al-Fil. Wherever Quraysh intended to travel, the Arabs, Allah Akbar, would not have objected. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded them to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It means that Allah Almighty has bestowed numerous favors on the Quraysh. They should have become Allah's grateful servants and should not associate anyone with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And they were engaged in Allah's ibadah, worship, and worship with great enthusiasm. If they do not remember other favors and the feelings of gratitude does not arise in their hearts, they should not forget this kindness that in this uncultivated valley, Wadi Zara, in this isolated desert where there is no possibility of producing food and crops, and there is a complete lack of necessities of life. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has also provided them with sustenance, arranged to create the desire for trade in their hearts. During the winter and summer seasons, they go to separate areas to do the business, and no one stops them. They live in the desert, yet they continue to enjoy the blessings of the world. So the markets, the bazaars of Makkah are full of food. Their shops are full of fresh fruits. So they should have made ibadah, worshipping the Rabb, the Lord of the house, Rabb al-Bayt, and their slogans, and not even look at anyone else because they are respected. After the incident of Ashab al-Fil, people started respecting, especially Hashimis and Sayyidina Abdul Muttalib. Hey, he's the man of God. He's the man of God. Stay away from him. Respect, because if he says, then Ababil is going to come and they can destroy us. Allah Akbar. So Allah give that kind of love and respect towards them out of fear. Now the third verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَلْيَعْبُدُوا رَبَّ هَذَا الْبَيْتِ, यानी बस उन्हें चाहिए कि इस घर के जो मालिक है, यानी उसका जो रब है, उसकी इबादत करे, यानी काबतुल्लाह की इबादत नहीं, उसके मालिक की, उसकी तरफ डायरेक्शन करे अल्लाह की, ताकि उसकी शुक्रगुजारी हो. Means so they should worship the Lord of this sacred house, yani Kaaba, to give Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is, and now the grammatical side of this, like if you go word by word, fa, lam is imperative, fa is a conjunction, and like waw atifa, and lam fal, yani prefixed imperative particle, and ya'budu is a verb, okay, like imperfect verb, and budu waw alif is the pronoun, okay, damir, subhanallah. So let them worship, तो इन्हें इबादत करने दें, एक इबादत करें. सुबहानल्लाह एक फ़ेल मुदारे मजजूम वल वाव दमीर है मुत्तसिल फी महल रफ़ फ़ाइल. सुबहानल्लाह फलयअबुदू. रब्बा, the Lord, means the पालनहार, पालने वाला. I've given the meaning of Rabb, what exactly the Rabb means, inshallah, which I did in the Tafsir of Surah Al-Fatiha, Rabbil Alamin, when it comes. Okay, so it is Ism Mansub. هذا is اسم إشارة, Allahu Akbar. Of this, هذا البيت, Allahu Akbar. Bayt is a noun, اسم مجرور, house. البيت يعني بيت الله Sharif. And Imam Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhu says that فَلْيَعْبُدُوا فَلْيُوَحِدْ Quraish, yani, so let them worship, فَلْيَعْبُدُوا, so let Quraish declare the divine oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. رَبَّ هَذَا الْبَيْتِ, the Lord of this house, means of the Kaaba. رَبَّ هَذَا الْبَيْتِ, he is the Lord of all the creatures, all the creation. Allah Akbar. In Jalalain, فَلْيَعْبُدُوا تَعَلَّقَ بِهِ لِإِيلَافِ, yani let them worship. فَلْيَعْبُدُوا is yani Imam Jalaluddin Suyuti rahmatullah says that semantically connected to لِإِيلَافِ, for the security. وَالْفَا زَائِدَةٌ رَبَّ هَذَا الْبَيْتِ, the fa being extra, the Lord of this house, subhan. And in general tafsir, the meaning of the worship is that they express their utmost helplessness and humiliation in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or acknowledge the tawheed of the Lord of this house of Allah, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone has protected this house, not the idols they other worship. And the word Rabb, the Lord, is used in this verse because Hazrat Abdul Muttalib radiallahu ta'ala anhu, the grandfather of Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, said to Abraha what we learned from the previous tafsir, that there is one Lord of this house who will protect this house, this Kaaba, and will not surrender safety to the idols. Allahu Akbar. So now it was necessary for the Quraysh to worship only Allah alone and not to worship anyone else except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As if Allah the Almighty said to the Quraysh that and since you have worshipped only Allah alone for the protection of the Kaaba, so you should worship only Him in this house and do not associate anyone else in worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah Akbar. And when we talk about the house of Allah, Baytullah, Ibadah, I have mentioned what exactly Ibadah is in Surah Al-Fatiha. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Ali Imran verse 96, Allah says, Inna awwala bayti wudi'a lin-nasi lalladhi bi Bakkata mubarakan wa hudan lil alamin. यानी बेशक सबसे पहला घर जो लोगों की इबादत के लिए बनाया गया है वही है जो मक्के में है, बरकत वाला है, मुबारकम व हुदल लिल आलमीन, सारे जहानों के लिए हिदायत का एक मरकज है. Allah means the first house ever constructed for mankind to worship is indeed the one is in Makkah, teeming with blessings and the center of guidance for the whole world. It's a center of guidance, subhanAllah. And hadith that is recorded by Imam Bukhari and Imam Muslim and Sunan al-Nasai and also Imam Ahmad in his Musnad that Sayyidina Abi Zar Ghifari radiallahu tabarak wa ta'ala anhu said, قلت يا رسول الله أي مسجد وضع في الأرض أولا. यानी अबू ज़र ग़िफ़ारी रज़ियल्लाहु ताला अन्हु से रिवायत है कि मैंने अर्ज़ किया रसूलुल्लाह से कि अल्लाह के रसूल सल्लल्लाहु ताला अलैहि वसल्लम सबसे पहले इस रूए ज़मीन पर कौन सी मस्जिद बनाई गई. सुभान अल्लाह, what a beautiful question. Mr. Abu Ghifari radiallahu ta'ala reported that I asked Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam which mosque was first, when it was first set up on the earth for ibadah. Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam replied, Al-Masjid al-Haram, Masjid al-Haram, जो काबे में. And then قلت أي, قال المسجد الأقصى. قلت كم بينها. यानी मैंने पूछा फिर कौन सी, उसके बाद कौन सी मस्जिद बनाई गई. रसूलुल्लाह ने फरमाया मस्जिद अक्सा यानी बैतुल मक़दिस. फिर मैंने पूछा दोनों की तामीर में कितना फासला है. I again Sayyidina Abu Dharr Ghifari asked the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then which is the next mosque after Baitullah bin Ka'batullah in Mecca. So Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam replied that it was the Masjid Al-Aqsa, yani Baitul Maqdis. I again, Abu Zar Ghifari said that I again asked the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam how long the time between their setting up. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, قال 40 سنة, यानी 40 साल का फासला है. पहले काबतुल्लाह बना फिर उसके बाद मस्जिद अक्सा बना, उनके दरमियान 40 साल का फासला था. Means the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that it was 40 years of the time between Baitullah Sharif, which is in Mecca, and Baitul Maqdis, which is in Jerusalem right now. So أينما أدركت الصلاة فصلي فهو مسجد. यानी अब जहां तुझे ऐनमा अदरक, जहां तुझे नमाज का वक्त आ जाए नमाज पढ़ ले. अल्लाह अकबर. So and whenever the time comes for prayer, pray there, for that is a masjid. Allah, because do not delay the prayer. That's what it means. Because many people like let's wait. No, go ahead. We don't know what will happen. So when we have time, just do not delay the prayer, which I already mentioned in Surah Al-Ma'un, that delaying the prayer is a sign of hypocrisy. मुनाफिकत की अलामत है नमाजों को डिले करना. जब वक्त आ जाए तो पढ़ने की कोशिश करना जल्दी से जल्दी. और Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has talked very highly in and praises the Baytullah and in connection with Sayyidina Ibrahim and Ismail. Allah Akbar. There are so many verses in Quran which like Surah Al-Baqarah verse 125 to 129 if you recite is جعلنا البيت مثابة للناس وأمنا واتخذوا من مقام إبراهيم وصلى واحدنا إلى إبراهيم وإسماعيل أن طهر بيتي للطائفين والعاكفين وركع السجود. And remember when we made the house, the Kaaba, a central place for humankind to turn to and assemble, and a sanctuary for peace and commanded make the place. Sayyidina Ibrahim stood at the place of prayer. Subhanallah, Maqam Ibrahim highly graded, and we urge Ibrahim and Ismail al-Islam, purify and cleanse my house for those who circumambulate, those who tawaf of it, and those who go into retreat, and those who kneel down and prostrate. Allah Akbar. وَإِذْ قَالَ إِبْرَاهِيمَ رَبِّ اجْعَلْ هَذَا بَلَدًا آمِنًا وَارْزُقْ أَهْلَهُ مِنَ الثَّمَرَاتِ مَنْ آمَنَ مِنْهُم بِاللَّهِ وَالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ قَالَ وَمَنْ كَفَرَ فَأُمَتِّعُهُ قَلِيلًا ثُمَّ أَضْطَرُّهُ إِلَى عَذَابِ النَّارِ وَبِئْسَ الْمَصِيرُ. और जब इब्राहिम अलैहिस्सलाम ने अर्ज़ किया है मेरे रब इसे अमन वाला शहर बना दे, उसके बाशिंदों को तरह तरह के फलों से नवाज, यानी उन लोगों को जो उनमें से अल्लाह पर और यौम आखिरत पर ईमान लाए। अल्लाह तबारक व तआला ने फरमाया जो कोई कुफ्र करेगा उसको भी ज़िंदगी की थोड़ी मुद्दत के लिए फ़ायदा पहुंचाऊंगा, फिर उसे उसकी कुफ्र के बाद दोज़ख के अजाब की तरफ जाने पर मजबूर कर दूंगा और वो बहुत बुरी जगह है। And when the Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam prayed to his Lord, "O my Lord, Ya Rabbil Alameen, make it a city of peace and bless it, its residents with a variety of fruits, that is, those of them who believe, who believe in Allah and the last day." Allah said, "As for him who disbelieves, I shall also grant him enjoyment for a short span of life in this world. Then, for his disbelief, shall drive them to torment to the hellfire, and that is an extremely evil destination." Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, mentions in Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 127, وإذ يرفع إبراهيم القواعد من البيت وإسماعيل ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم. अल्लाह अकबर। याद करो महबूब सल्लल्लाहु ताला अलैहि वसल्लम जब इब्राहिम और इस्माइल अलैहिस्सलाम खाने काबा की बुनियादें उठा रहे थे तो दोनों दुआ कर रहे थे कि ऐ हमारे रब तू हमसे ये खिदमत कबूल फरमा ले। सुभान अल्लाह, बेशक तू खूब सुनने वाला जानने वाला है। सुभान अल्लाह. So these are many verses in the praise when we talk about Bayt, Allah Baytullah is highly because it was created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by his command and all the angels, and then after a couple hundred years back Sayyidina Ibrahim came, and after the Nuh alayhi salam, that place was preserved with the air, and then Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam Ismail built the house which has mentioned in Surah Al-Baqarah from verse 129 through 130. If we recite Allah Akbar, it talks about our Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, subhanallah. So this bait. So now coming to the fourth verse, الذي أطعمهم من جوع وآمنهم من خوف, जिसने उन्हें भूख यानी फक्र व फाका की हालत में खाना दिया, आमनहुम मिन खौफ, और दुश्मनों के खौफ से अमन बख्शा, महफूज जिंदगी अता की. Who has fed them in hunger, that is provided the sustenance in a starving condition, and amanahum min khawf, and secured them from fear of foes, blessed them with what you call the hifaza, yani secure and peaceful life. Subhanallah. Alladhi, the one who, ism mawsul, and Alladhi at'amahum. Allah Akbar. At'ama is the verb, and whom is the pronouns, like the pronoun is a damir, feeds them. Isne khilaya. Allah Akbar. At'amahum min ju'. Min is the harf jar, which is from. Ju' against the hunger. Ism majroor, and this ju' at'amahum min ju' wa amanahum. Allah Akbar. Waw is the atifa, amanahum is the verb, whom is the amana is the verb, and whom is the pronoun ishara, and gives them security. Them yani Quraish. Allah amanahum. Wa amanahum min, again the harf jar, which is min, from khawf, from the fear. Ismi majroor. Subhanallah. Sayyidina Ibn Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhuma says that الَّذِي أَطْعَمَهُم مِّن جُوعٍ means who has fed them against the hunger, which lasted 7 years, and it is also said this meaning means who sufficed them the burden of hunger and traveling in winter and summer, because they used to make 2 trips a year, one in winter to Yemen and one in summer to Syria, and so Allah sufficed them the burden of doing so. وَآمَنَهُمْ مِنْ خَوْفٍ means and has made them safe from a fear of the enemies in case someone attacks them. And it is also said from the fear of the negus, Najashi, and his host who wanted to destroy the Kaaba. This surah is, as I mentioned, that's what Sayyidina Ibn Abbas said, that this surah is also in conjunction with the previous surah, Surah Al-Fil. Jalalain says that Allah at'amahum min ju' ayyu min ajli, yani who has fed them against, that is on account of hunger, and made them secure from that. It is آمنهم من خوف أي من أجله وكان يصيبهم الجوع لعدم الزرع بمكة وخافوا جيش الفيل, yani on the account of fear they used to suffer hunger in Makkah due to the lack of crops, and they feared the army of the elephant. Allah Akbar. So in general tafsir, who gave them, like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them food when they were hungry and gave them peace and security from fear. It's just a reminder, the abundance of sustenance. So basically, it's a reminder that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has bestowed them. If you only worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and believe in Allah and Yawm al-Akhirah through the wasila of Sayyidina Muhammad Rasulullah, then what happened? You will be, the blessing is with you. So being blessed with peace in the face of fear is the greatest worldly blessing, which is thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Just say, oh Allah, you alone deserve all praises, worship, and thanksgiving for your outward and inward blessings. Allah has reserved his lordship with his house, Kaaba, because of his grace and honor. Otherwise, he is the Lord of everything. So the result in that rain in the crops and other things are not produced in Makkatul Mukarramah. So it was the habit of Quraysh to make 2 trips throughout the year for the trade. In winter to Yemen, which is hot country, and in summer Syria, which is a cold land. Because these are the two countries, Syria and Yemen. Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has prayed for them, and they are highly regarded, and we must respect, because their long-term connection with Makkah, the people of Makkah and the people of Quraish, the great-grandparents of Sayyidina Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, with Sham and Yemen, yani Syria and Yemen. And people regarded Quraysh as Ahl al-Haram, and servants of the house of Allah, and custodians of the house of Allah, Khadim al-Haramain, Khadim al-Haram, Allah Akbar, and respected them and did not interfere with their wealth and lives. And they would benefit enough to sit at home and eat and feed them. The same event is mentioned in the surah. And since they were respected everywhere because of the house of Allah, therefore the word Rab was added to this house, and giving food in hunger is a sign of gaining profit, and giving peace from fear is a sign. Allah Akbar. In this journey towards non-violence and in their presence. So Sufia rahimahullah says that the meaning of this verse is also that the Quraysh were suffering from the hunger of ignorance, because there was a part, fatara, that like a gap, they went into some ignorance. So Allah sent down the great prophet Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, which removed their ignorance, as if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, "O Quraish of Makkah, you were ignorant people before the coming of Sayyidina Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. Then Allah sent revelation to your prophet Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, who taught you the book and wisdom, so that now you are people of knowledge. Then feeding is the food of the body, which obliges the one who feeds the food to be grateful. Allah Akbar. So the food which is the food of the soul, why not be thankful uh, for this, subhanallah. And this subhanallah, Abu Hassan Qazvini says that if anyone is a fear uh, of any enemy or foes, what they should do, they should recite Surah Al-Quraish Allah Akbar. And also for the risk. And Qazi Sanaullah Panipati Rahmatullah alayh has mentioned in Tafsir Mazhari that I have practiced and it is my experience, and this has been granted to me by my Sheikh Mirza Mazhari Jana Shahid Rahimahullah alayh, that whenever there is a fear or anything against hunger or anything, I recite this surah and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grants me with in abundance, with the risk, and keep me in peace. So subhanallah, this is one of the great surah we should be reciting in order to bring peace in our life. Allahu Akbar, from everything. So subhanallah, this is the if Allahumma salli ala. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. MashaAllah, the question is good. Just sent to me personally. When Baitullah is, यानी बैतुल्ला शरीफ जब इतना मुकद्दस है तो वहाँ के जो इमाम हैं वो कौन होना चाहिए वहाँ वहाँ के खादिम असल जैसा कि कुरैश को दिया गया, तो फिर ये सऊदी क्या कुरैश से है? It's a political question. Actually, according to the hadith, यानी आप क्योंकि उर्दू में पूछ रहे हैं, सरकार दो वसल्लम का इरशाद है कि अल अइम्मतु मिनल कुरैश, the अइम्मा, the imams or the khulafa are from the Quraish. That's why Sayyidina Abu Bakr, the first Khalifa of the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, was from Banu team, and uh, he was Quraishi because that's the clan of that Quraish tribe. And the second is Sayyidina Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu ta'ala anhu, who is from Bani Adi, I believe. So it's also a clan of the tribe of Quraysh. And Sayyidina Usman ibn Affan radiallahu ta'ala anhu was from Banu Umayyah. And Sayyidina Ali al-Murtada karramallahu wajhul kareem was from the Hashim, the family of Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, which is a clan of for the tribe of Quraish. So they have, and their descendants are have more right to that one. And whatever, like we respect everyone, whatever that is. Allah Akbar. So this is something, इनके पीछे नमाज पढ़ सकते हैं. अल्लाहुम्मा सल्ली अला मुहम्मद वाले सिन्नार. ये ऐसा है, it needs a lot of time. Of course, we can pray. Subhanallah, those who believe in Allah and the Yawm al-Akhirah and believe in the last, final, the Prophet of Rasulullah Muhammad Rasulullah, we can make them as our Imam. Subhanallah, I have written an article long time back, couple like 10, 15 years back. Can we pray? Because I was very strict that, I was not praying behind them. When I learned from many ahadith that Sayyidina Abu Sa'id al-Khudri prayed behind Hajjaj ibn Yusuf, who was the big innovator who has killed many Sahaba. Allahu Akbar. He used to believe some Sahaba as murtad and a'udhu billah, apostate, and he killed them, and Sahaba prayed behind that person. And Sayyidina Imam Hassan, Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam prayed behind Marwan, one of the first person of and many Tabi'in and Sahaba used to call Marwan as the innovator and one of the ferocious person. Allahu Akbar. And this he was appointed the governor from Muawiyah. So he used to slander Sayyidina Muhammad, the family of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Sayyidina Ali al-Murtada, and he's worse than anyone else. And Sayyidina Imam Hassan, Imam Hussein, they prayed behind him, and they were asked, like Imam in Musannaf ibn Abi Shayba, which is Imam Ibn Abi Shayba was the teacher of Bukhari and Muslim, has recorded the hadith from Sayyidina Imam Jafar Sadiq and others that Imam Hassan and Hussein used to pray behind Marwan, and they were asked, do you go home and repeat your prayers, then they say, Wallahi, we don't repeat whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded to pray. So this is something that so we should look into it rather creating controversial issues. I remember a long time back I was in that kind of behavior. Now I changed myself, and because when I learned from Quran and Sunnah and went back to our tradition, especially the ahadith and early scholars and practices of Sahaba. So we can pray behind them. Astaghfirullah, we cannot pray behind Qadiani. Astaghfirullah, we don't pray. Na'uzubillah, they are not Muslim. I don't know why people say it's a sect of Islam. They are not. It's a totally different religion they created based on their ideologies and beliefs. They created ones that has no connection with Islam at all. They are Qadianis. They call themselves Ahmadi. So we don't pray behind them. Nauzubillah. And they are not Muslims. Astaghfirullah. But there's like, those we can pray as long as the person who believe, as I always mention, the person who practice Hadith Jibril is the Muslim, and we can pray behind them. Allah. This is a long talk, inshallah. Maybe some other time we'll talk about praying. But please don't take me wrong. I know some people they don't like to hear, but this is what the fact is. When I learn from ahadith, let's learn from Sahaba instead of learning from these scholars who started creating new issues and like last 200 years. We are not following them. We are following way back Sahaba because Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, I'm leaving two very things among you, Quran and Ahl Bayt. So let's Quran and ask Ahl Bayt, and they have done it. Allahu Akbar. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala Sayyidina Mawlana Muhammad. Okay, any other question? Inshallah, I'll find that article and send it to you. Okay, send me your email address. I'll send it to you. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. Any other question? Okay, so before I go to, I'm about to start Ruqya. I still have few minutes, but I can start earlier. Early, actually. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا مولانا محمد صلاة دائمة مقبولة تؤدي بها النار. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna start Ruqya. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala sayyidina Muhammad. Let me start.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम। मेरा सवाल ये है कि रुक़य्या का डेफिनेशन क्या है और इसको पढ़ने से यानी सुनने से क्या-क्या फायदे होते हैं? ये बताइए ना प्लीज। डेफिनेशन ही नहीं मालूम है हमको।
रुक़या के माने है दम करना। और हमारे हुजूर सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने फरमाया कि खुद सरकार ने बस से कहा कि मुझ पर दम करो। तो जैसे सरकार दो सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम की हज़रत आयशा ग़ालिबन सलामुल्लाह अलैहा दम करना यानी कुछ पढ़कर just spell just recite Surah Al-Fatiha and other surahs and some verses जो ऐसे verses कुरान की आयत हैं जिसमें बड़ी ताकत है और उसको दम करने से उनके उनके असरात होते हैं। उसकी मिसाल ऐसी है कि अगर मैं किसी को ये कहूँ उल्लू तो क्या होगा उसको असर आएगा व्हाट इज दिस राइट। इसी तरह जब अल्लाह का नाम लेते हैं तो उसके ऊपर भी कुछ असर होना चाहिए। तो हम जब पढ़ रहे हैं तो मेक श्योर ये हमारे अंदर उसका असर हो रहा है या नहीं हो रहा है। सूरह फातिहा पढ़े असर नहीं हो रहा तो हम वी आर नॉट फीलिंग एनीथिंग इट मींस देयर इज समथिंग रॉन्ग विद अस। तो इस तरीके से हम समझना है। तो रुक़या के माने उसकी बरकतें होती हैं और हमारे हुजूर सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम दम करते थे और खुद सरकार ने फरमाया कि मुझ पर भी दम करो बशर्ते कि उसके अंदर शिर्क ना हो।
अच्छा, जी,
हाँ,
जी।
तो ये रुक़या होता है उसकी बरकतें होती हैं पढ़ने की और अपने पर दम करें बच्चों पर दम करें फूकें और उसमें थोड़ा बहुत अगर स्पिट लाइक क्या बोलना चाहिए थोड़ा सलाइवा थोड़ा निकले कोई फिर उसमें निकलना चाहिए थोड़ा करे तो थोड़ा सा निकल जाए। तो इस तरीके से ज़ुबान से जो ब्लो करते हैं ना उसको रुक़या को पढ़ के फिर उसको दम करते हैं फूकते हैं उसके ऊपर उसके असरात होते हैं।
जी, 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 जज़ाकल्लाह खैर।
होप
क्योंकि
आई आंसर।
मुझे बहुत यानी वसवसे नेगेटिविटीज यानी अल्लाह बहुत दिया है लेकिन नेगेटिविटी यानी ईमान, अरे क्या होगा, दैट दैट इज वेरी मच इन मी। सो मेरे को जो जो आता है मैं अपने बच्चों के लिए, मेरे लिए पढ़ लेती हूँ, लेकिन मेरे को डेफिनेशन नहीं मालूम था। जो मुझे आता है मैं पढ़ लेती हूँ, तो थैंक यू सो मच, जज़ाकल्लाह खैर।
जी। और मैं कभी भी अपने आप को ऐसा खाली मत समझिए, क्योंकि अगर दिल में कोई वसवसे आते हैं ना, दैट्स योर कंप्लीशन ऑफ योर ईमान, ईमान के कामिल होने की दलील है। ताकि आप कामिल यानी कि शैतान भटका रहा है, क्योंकि आपके अंदर ईमान की दौलत है आपके दिल के अंदर, और उसको चुराने की कोशिश कर रहा है, तो ये वसवसे डालता है हमें। तो जो वसवसे आ रहा है, तो ये आपके ईमान में बहुत पुख्तगी है, उसको चुराना है। चोर है, कोई झोपड़ी में जाके डाका थोड़ी मारेगा, कोई महल में आके डाका मारने की कोशिश करेगा ना। तो माशाल्लाह आपके पास वो चीज़ है, तो आप वो वसवसे लाने को उसको एंटरटेन मत करिए। अस्तगफार पढ़िए, तौबा करिए, ला हौल वला कुव्वता इल्ला बिल्लाह। उसकी नेमतों का, जैसा सूरह कुरैश में हमने लर्न कराया ना, कि उसकी नेमतों को याद करते जाएं, कमियों की तरफ मत देखें। अगर हमारे अंदर अपने अंदर देखेंगे तो करोड़ों नेमतें हैं। अल्लाह ताला ने आंखों के जरिए हमें बीनाई दी, कानों के जरिए सुनवाई दी है, जुबान के दिए टेस्ट करने का दिया, नाक दिया जिससे हम सूंघ सकते हैं, हाथ पाँव दिया, हमारे चखने, फिर दिलो दिमाग दिया। अल्लाह अकबर, इतनी नेमतें हैं। फिर अराउंड इतनी नेमतें हैं, मैं बता नहीं सकता हूँ। घर दिया, खाने को दे रहा है, मीन्स एक्सेस में है। वो नेमतों का जिक्र करें, अल्लाह को इतनी नेमतें हैं। अल्लाह अल्लाह अल्लाह, इन ताउद्दू निअमतुल्लाहि ला तुहसूहा। उसकी नेमतों का हम शुमार करने जाएंगे, उसको नंबरिंग करने जाएंगे, तो अल्लाह पे कर ही नहीं सकते। तो उन चीज़ की तरफ मेरे पास ये नहीं है, मेरे पास वो नहीं है, मेरा घर छोटा है, मेरे कोई, इन चीज़ों में नहीं जाए। तो शैतान क्या करता है, वसवसे डालता है, ताकि आपके ईमान में कमी होती जाए। तो दरअसल ईमान जिसका ज़्यादा पुख्ता होता है ना, शैतान उसके ऊपर ज़्यादा कोशिश करता है। तो माशाल्लाह आपके अंदर ईमान ज़्यादा है, तो वो वसवसे आ रहे हैं, तो उसको ज़्यादा एंटरटेन मत करिए, और सूरह फातिहा पढ़िए, औज़ु बिल्लाहि मिनश शैतानिर रजीम पढ़िए, उसकी नेमतों का जिक्र करते जाइए। और कोई सवाल है? हो पाए आंसर? जी।
जी, जज़ाकल्लाह खैर, थैंक यू।
वही आपको कजालिक जज़ाकल्लाह। और कोई सवाल है? अल्लाहुम्मा सल्ली अला सय्यिदिना मुहम्मद व अला आलिहि वसल्लम। ठीक है, मैं अब रुक़या शुरू करता हूँ।